Early this morning, Melbourne time, the Australian-born Mary Donaldson became Queen of Denmark as her husband Frederik replaced his mother to become King Frederik X. They sealed it with a kiss in front of a crowd estimated 100,000. The King got quite emotional, wiped away a tear, and he promised Danes to do what kings should do: unite.
At blive en samlende konge er i morgen. Det er en opgave, jeg har nærmet mig hele mit liv. Det er et ansvar, jeg tager på mig med respekt, stolthed og stor glæde.
I see many Australians, especially Tasmanians, loving the idea that even one of us can rise to royalty.
Good luck to her. Good on her.
Good on her.
Good on him. Yeah.
Good on her.
It's wonderful. Finally, an Australian on a throne somewhere.
He seems quite at home.
Good day and welcome back to Royal News Daily, where royal headlines behave suspiciously like political scandals, and yesterday's rumors have an uncanny habit of voting themselves back into relevance. Now here is today's burning question. How does a brand new king find himself dragged back into an old controversy just as he is meant to be projecting stability, authority, and fresh leadership? Because right now, King Frederik's past is knocking loudly on the palace gates, and the timing could not be more awkward. Before we get into the thick of it, take a moment to subscribe to Royal News Daily and click the notifications bell icon. That way, you stay ahead of every royal recalculation, diplomatic detour, and palace cleanup operation. This story is not slowing down. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth about power. When you rise, your history rises with you. Old stories that once felt manageable suddenly gain new weight. In politics, we see this constantly. A minister's past expense claim becomes front page news the moment they are tipped for leadership. And now, for King Frederik, an old association that once lived quietly in the background has returned with all the subtlety of a parliamentary inquiry announced at breakfast. The so-called Ex-Mistress drama is not new information. It has circulated before, been debated, denied, contextualized, and quietly filed away by palace communications teams. But becoming king changes the equation entirely. What was once framed as personal becomes political. What was once private becomes symbolic. And symbolism, as we know, is the monarchy's entire job description. The renewed attention has not emerged out of nowhere. It has been fueled by international media revisiting past images, comments, and timelines, all while Frederik is still settling into his role as head of state. For a monarchy that prides itself on continuity and calm, this is deeply inconvenient. Think of it as trying to deliver a national unity speech while the opposition live tweets your university antics from 20 years ago. The palace response so far has been measured, restrained, and frankly predictable. No dramatic statements, no public outrage, just quiet insistence that the king is focused on duty and the future. This is classic damage control, and Australians will recognize the strategy instantly. Say less, stay steady, and hope the news cycle finds something shinier. But here's where it gets interesting. Silence works best when trust is already strong. And while King Frederik is respected, he is still new in the role. Trust is being built in real time. That makes every unresolved narrative feel heavier, even if the facts themselves have not changed. Meanwhile, Queen Mary's role in this unfolding situation cannot be overstated. She has become, intentionally or not, the emotional anchor of the monarchy. Her composure acts as reassurance. Her presence signals stability. And her silence, much like Frederik's, invites interpretation. In Australian political terms, she is the senior minister quietly holding the line while the leader absorbs the heat. Public reaction in Denmark has been mixed but telling. There is no widespread outrage, no calls for abdication, no dramatic collapse of support. Instead, there is fatigue. People are tired of old stories resurfacing just when the country is meant to be looking forward. And fatigue can be more dangerous than anger. Angry citizens shout. Tired citizens disengage. From an Australian perspective, This mirrors what happens when governments recycle controversies that voters thought were settled. The issue is not always the scandal itself. It is the sense that leadership cannot escape its own shadow. And shadows are inconvenient when you're trying to present a clear vision. The media, of course, thrives in this environment. Headlines sharpen. Language escalates. Words like haunt, returns, and damage control do the heavy lifting. Suddenly, a personal narrative is framed as an institutional threat. Is that fair? Not entirely. Is it effective? Absolutely. What complicates matters further is the modern expectation of transparency. Monarchies historically survived on mystique and distance. Modern audiences, however, expect explanations, accountability, and emotional authenticity. This creates a tension that royal institutions are still learning to navigate. Say too much, and you legitimize the controversy. Say too little, and you appear evasive. King Frederik's challenge is to find the balance without appearing defensive. So far, the strategy has been to lean heavily into duty, public service, and international engagement. In theory, this shifts focus back to the role rather than the rumor. In practice, it only works if the public is willing to follow. And then there's the timing. All of this unfolds while Denmark, like much of the world, faces economic uncertainty, geopolitical tension, and shifting alliances. In moments like these, symbolic leadership matters. People look to figures of continuity for reassurance. Any distraction, however old,